Masato starts the story by explaining how, through a strange twist of fate, he ends up in another world. Oddly enough, this new place isn't all that different from where he came from except for one big thing. There are 5 girls for every one guy. Besides that, everything feels familiar, which helps him settle in pretty quickly. Still, there's one part he just can't get used to: how hard it is to live a normal life here. Masato figures everyone wants a little attention from the opposite sex at some point, but he never expected things to be like this. Take Mira, a high school girl who often invites him for tea. Even though he's not looking for that kind of attention, it doesn't seem to matter how often he turns her down. People here aren't the type to give up easily. Masato feels like some rare Pokemon surrounded by Pokeballs ready to catch him. Just then, Kumi sneaks up behind him, throws her arms around his neck, and cheerfully reminds him that class is about to start. As they head off, Mira calls out, trying to get him to stay. Masato hesitates, thinking it might be rude to just walk away. When he sees the angry look on Mira's face, he gets a little nervous. Still, he leaves with Kumi anyway. She rolls her eyes and jokes to herself that Masato is basically a human air freshener too polite for his own good. Kumi tells Masato that he should just ignore stuff like that, but Masato admits it's not that easy for him. She lets out a sigh and says the real problem is that Masato is just too kind to everyone, and that's what worries her. Even though everything still feels strange, Masato finds her words comforting. It's only been a month since he arrived in this world, and at first, nothing seemed too unusual. But when he noticed the gender ratio 5 girls for every guy, everything started making more sense. Girls here are way more direct, and it's normal for people to talk about polygamy like it's no big deal. Masato realizes he was a little slow to catch on because back in his old world, he mostly joked around with friends and didn't think seriously about life. But now, things are different. He's starting to understand what it means to truly appreciate life. He used to dream of living a simple, peaceful life with someone who cared for him, almost like a guardian. And even in this new world, he's been lucky enough to find good friends. Thinking about Kumi now, Masato realizes that because of the crazy gender balance, even someone as amazing as her is paying attention to him. Deep down, he feels grateful to this world, and its people for giving him a life that feels so special. For the first time, he feels like he really belongs here. As she walks alongside Masato, Kumi gets lost in her own thoughts. She realizes she might be a lot more simple-minded than she ever thought. A few weeks back, she was just casually walking down the street when she noticed an Upu game happening. Annoyed, she decided to ignore it and headed to school. But as soon as she stepped inside, a group of boys started laughing and scoring her looks like it was some kind of contest. She even overheard one of them asking her out on a date. Frustrated and angry, she clenched her fists and stormed off. Kumi couldn't understand why random guys acted like asking a girl out was some kind of joke. She wondered if there was some secret rulebook about flirting that she never got to read, because these guys weren't even trying to be charming. It was just lazy and irritating. Thanks to how rare boys were around here, they had gotten way too full of themselves. Still fuming, she walked out onto the balcony and accidentally bumped into another boy. She quickly apologized, but instead of just moving along, he instantly asked if she was single and if she wanted to become his third girlfriend. Exhausted by it all, Kumi dragged herself back to class. Sitting at her desk, unsure what to even feel anymore, her friend leaned over and teased her, asking if she could survive until 5th period. Kumi just laughed it off, saying she didn't even want to be this popular. She joked that they should forget about all this drama and focus on finding one truly handsome guy instead. Kumi quietly admits to herself that her friend might have a point. In this world, guys are rare and treated like prizes, and they get to do all the choosing. While she's lost in her thoughts, her friend nudges her again, asking who Kumi has her eye on in the badminton club. Kumi avoids giving a clear answer, and her friend teases her, asking if she really hasn't found anyone interesting yet. Feeling a little nervous, Kumi rubs her fingers together and says she hasn't met anyone who fits what she's looking for. She's not interested in dating someone just because she happens to be there. Half joking, she talks about an imaginary checklist of the perfect traits she'd want in a guy, saying maybe if someone matches it, she'll think about it. Her friend laughs and tells her she's asking for too much. Finding a boyfriend isn't like ordering off a fast food menu. Then, scooting closer, she playfully calls Kumi adorable, but warns that if she doesn't make the first move, she might end up staying single. Kumi smiles to herself and thinks it's like she's starring in a weird reality show called The Most Confusing Boyfriend Contest. Honestly, she doesn't really mind. She knows that a girl who doesn't try to get picked probably won't, and she's totally fine with that. Just then, her phone buzzes with a notification. Kumi checks it and is surprised to see that today's class has been cancelled, leaving her wondering what to do with her sudden free time. Just then, Kumi hears Masato's voice nearby. She notices him sitting alone, looking a little lost as he tries to figure out which class he should choose. She glances over and thinks he looks like he's struggling, and it surprises her that no one's helping him. Normally, in this world, guys have 3 or 4 girlfriends constantly around them. It feels wrong to just leave him sitting there alone. There's something about Masato that feels different, something she doesn't sense with other boys. As she watches him, she starts to realize how good-looking he actually is. After hesitating for a while, Kumi finally walks up to him and asks if he's here to register for his classes. Masato nods and explains that his enrollment got delayed for some reason. When he flashes a bright smile, Kumi freezes for a second. She can't help but wonder if guys really smile like that. A little dazed, she gives him a small smile back and offers to help with his enrollment. Inside, she's freaking out, worrying that she might have made a fool of herself or that Masato might think she's just trying to get closer to him. But instead, Masato's face lights up even more. He thanks her happily, saying her help would mean a lot. That catches her off guard even more. She can't quite figure out what it is about his natural, easygoing smile that feels so different. As she gathers herself, Masato shifts slightly and points to his department and faculty info, ready to get started. Kumi feels like she's starting to lose it. Why would Masato offer her a seat when they're just having a simple conversation? Nothing about this moment makes sense to her anymore. She's worried that if Masato keeps being this sweet, she might actually burst into tears. Trying to stay calm, she quietly sits down next to him, though it creates an awkward little scene. It feels like she's dreaming with her eyes wide open, and for a second, she even considers pinching herself, but then realizes she might accidentally end up slapping Masato instead. Reminding herself that this is real life, she focuses back on the conversation and realizes they're actually in the same department and faculty. Masato brightens up when he hears this, saying it would be awesome if someone like her, a senior, could help him out. Embarrassed, Kumi quickly corrects him, explaining that she's a freshman too. Masato looks genuinely surprised, and when his eyes meet hers, Kumi's panic grows even worse. She worries that he must be thinking something weird about her now. But instead of judging her, Masato just smiles warmly and says that even if she's new, she's already been a huge help, especially since he doesn't have any friends here yet. Then, introducing himself properly, he says his name is Katasato Masato and asks for hers. Totally caught off guard again, Kumi stares at him, wondering if anyone could really be this nice and chill. She's sweating nervously but forces herself to smile and introduces herself as Igarashi Kumi, adding a polite "nice to meet you." Masato nods and carefully memorizes her name, making Kumi feel even more flustered inside. While Masato talks, Kumi can't stop overthinking whether she smiled the right way or not. Masato goes on to explain that he's having a hard time picking his classes. Kumi notices his schedule is completely empty, and a little idea pops into her head. Maybe she can use this chance to have him pick the same classes she's in. Feeling nervous, she casually suggests that they match their schedules and throws out a few weak excuses to make it sound less suspicious. Masato looks at her and jokingly asks if she's some kind of genius. He seems genuinely surprised that Kumi is helping him without expecting anything in return. Back in his old world, people only acted that nice if they were customer service workers. Kumi quickly waves off the idea, insisting she's getting something out of it too, so he shouldn't feel bad. Masato accepts her offer without making a big deal, which confuses Kumi even more. She wonders why he's not teasing her about trying to get closer. He's just calmly talking like it's the most normal thing ever. Masato asks to see her schedule, and Kumi, sitting right beside him, can't help but think the whole situation feels too perfect, almost like a dream. Once they're finished organizing everything, Masato thanks her sincerely for all her help. But he also mentions that he won't be able to actually attend classes yet because he hasn't received his student ID. Kumi nods, smiling at him, and quietly realizes something. This is the first time talking to a boy has ever made her feel genuinely happy. Kumi notices Masato hesitating, like he's trying to find the right words. Curious, she asks him what's wrong. Blushing slightly, Masato shyly asks if it would be okay, if they could be friends. The moment those words hit her, Kumi completely freezes. It feels like her soul has just floated out of her body. She stares at Masato as if he's some kind of magical creature, like a unicorn offering to help her with her homework. In this world, where the power of choice usually rests with the guys, she can't believe he's the one asking her. Still, somehow, she manages to nod and say yes. Masato's face lights up as he thanks her, admitting he doesn't have any friends here yet. Then he casually walks ahead, leaving Kumi sinking to the ground, completely overwhelmed. She's never had a guy talk to her this way before. To her, Masato feels like a prince straight out of her daydreams. And just like that, Kumi realizes she's fallen for him. Without wasting another second, she makes a promise to herself. She's going to stay close to Masato, no matter what, and make sure no other girl steals him away. Gathering her courage, she hurries to catch up and starts walking home beside him. While they walk, Masato suddenly asks her to hold out her hands. Curious, she does, and he pulls a small candy from his pocket, placing it gently in her palms as a thank you gift. Kumi's cheeks turn bright red. She jokes that this feels unfair, like he's proposing to her with candy. In her heart, she accepts it like a real marriage proposal, laughing quietly at how, in this crazy world, candy must be the official currency of love. When Masato asks her what she meant, she quickly waves it off, saying it's nothing. Smiling to herself, they continue walking side by side. All day long, Kumi can't get Masato out of her head. She's sure now he's different from all the other guys. There's something real and gentle about him that she just can't ignore. Her heart feels like it's found a new purpose, and she quietly promises herself that one day, she'll become his special someone.